Hi, everyone. Tracy Lee here from the Alternate Point of View. Welcome, welcome. I hope everyone had a great Easter, getting to spend time with your family. Happy Resurrection. Thank you to Jesus and our Lord and Savior for giving us this time to celebrate with our families. As you can see, my background has changed. No, not because I don't still love and am extremely obsessed with Keanu, but because I am in Arizona. My mom has taken a terrible fall, and I am here to help support my sister and be here with my mom. And we are being here while my mom is in rehab, and because we are looking for a place for my mom, and we are using a place for mom to hopefully get her situated and, hopefully things will be okay. So I hope that everyone will keep my mom and my family in your prayers. Thank you so much. Anyway, coincidentally, as I have just been working full time now, probably I may be back doing YouTube lives and be making more YouTube videos. So thank you all so much for subscribing and liking and sharing these videos now. And that will hopefully be happening more often so you can like and subscribe and share more. So let's get into this video, you guys. I don't know if you all have seen the Netflix series Kidfluencer. I have watched it, and you guys, spoiler alert, this series is absolutely appalling. YouTube is a great platform. I think YouTube has been amazing, and it is amazing in some ways, as I will say, for adults. I think it's amazing in a lot of ways for people to grow and learn. It's educational. I think it's great for, what we're doing. What we're doing right now is we're watching crime, we're catching up on trials, we're learning about things maybe we've never heard of, right? I think it's a great community. I would like it to be a little freer. I wish there were words that we could say on here that are actual words. I say that all the time in a lot of my past videos. If you haven't watched them, please go back and watch. But what I do find absurd a lot is the kids, right? The kids. We've seen Ruby Frank. We're seeing a lot of stories on here that come about where people use their kids a lot to make money, right? And Kidfluencer on Netflix really opened my eyes a lot to what people do with their children. What really stirred me on this show was the parents that were suing Piper Raquel, who is the plot or the story at the center of this series, which uh, is a major kidfluencer, a major YouTuber, kind of like Mr. Beast, kind of like Jake Paul, who all started out young on YouTube and made lots of money and grew into adult YouTubers and have become huge, right? And now Jake Paul has grown out of his youth phase of YouTube and now become like a boxer and now makes tons of money doing that. So Piper Raquel started out as this cute kid on YouTube, apparently, and she was doing like slime videos. She was making fun dare videos, like, prank videos, fun stuff, things that what TikTok used to start out as, like dance videos, fun videos, things like that, right? And Piper Raquel was this cute little kid from Georgia. Her mom basically was making fun videos with her. She started out in pageants, and she was winning pageants. And this is kind of like the first thing I thought of when I saw this, that she was doing pageants. I thought of JonBenet Ramsey, and how her mom was doing this with her. And this was a big to do back then when JonBenet Ramsey, people were very judgmental of this pageant thing, the whole scene, everything. And they were talking about, Patsy Ramsey using JonBenet in these pageants and making her up to be like so adult like and pushing her into these pageants, and oh, look at her and how grown she looks and all of that. Well, Piper Raquel is really no different, right? Well, now in the day of social media and YouTube and TikTok and all of this stuff, parents are doing the same thing. And these kids are making tons and tons and tons of money. Well, watching this series, I realized Piper never went to school. She was basically doing pageants and YouTube. Her mom never sent her to school. She didn't do anything but make a lot of money on YouTube. And then her mom took her out of Georgia and moved her to California, where she was basically looking for her to become, I guess, in the Hollywood scene. But YouTube was making her so much money. She just kept growing and growing and growing on YouTube to the point that her mom basically made her own YouTube celebrity star status, that Piper was auditioning other people to be on her channel. And she created a group called The Squad. And people were joining Piper's channel to be on her channel because she was so popular. Now, this domino affected into other kids being on her channel and them growing their own channels. So parents were like, oh my God, my kid gets to be on Piper's channel. My kid can grow their status, make their own channels. And these kids were actually, according to the show, living basically in Piper's mansion. And they were working very odd hours, long hours, creating these videos to be on Piper's channel, creating their own channels, and just spawning viewers, subscribers, all of these things because they were on Piper's channel. And they were also being in commercials and videos and movies and whatever off of their own, on their own careers. But according to this series, Piper's mom, Tiffany, was so controlling that she would force these kids into contracts just to be on Piper's channel. And apparently these kids were making hundreds, thousands of dollars a month on YouTube. Now, just so you guys know and are aware, the possibilities on YouTube are endless. Now, I know a lot of people think that YouTube is just like this money, 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 money. Okay. I guess it could be. I've never seen that. I don't know. Clearly, I'm not a cute little 8-year-old kid that's just like making slime videos and making, hundreds of $1,000s a month. And apparently, these kids were. At least Piper was. Some of these kids were making, an upwards of $50,000 a month. What? Yeah. But these kids, and I'm talking about like 14, 15 kids in this squad, were making double-digit numbers a month. Piper was making 6 figures a month. Insanity, y'all. And the challenges and the pranks were just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Tiffany, the mom, was even to the point where she had some young guy who was living with her, who was her like cameraman, her PR guy, her everything guy. And she was having some sort of weird affair with this guy. And this guy was pretending to be Piper's brother on the channel. Super weird. Then she started having these little challenges where these kids were pretending to be with each other, like date each other, and they were only like 12. So the challengers were getting increasingly adult-like, but the most baffling part to me is that the parents didn't stop any of these challenges. These parents didn't stop any of these pranks, and these parents saw all of this happening and unfolding on YouTube. So this was like happening live before their eyes, and none of the parents stopped it. None of them. And this was in the pre-beginnings, infant stages of YouTube. Tiffany was like, you don't realize what's happening here. YouTube can make lots of money. You can make lots of money. This is huge. Wait till you see. And the parents at first will be like, oh, sure, whatever. This is an opportunity for my kid. Sure, it sounds fine. But then when they started the money rolling in, they were like, oh, this is real. Okay. So they didn't seem to think anything of it when they saw their kids like kissing each other or touching each other or none of those things. And then they tried to blame everything off on Tiffany and say that she was super controlling and she would make the parents be in a whole nother house in the back and wouldn't let them ever be on set. And she wouldn't let their children tell them what they were doing. It just seemed kind of strange to me that all of these things were happening and these parents didn't seem to have any control or say or anything. They just thought that their kids were kind of, you know, just filming. And what the parents, their biggest concerns were that their kids weren't getting fed on set and that they were working long hours. And they knew that by being on sets in other films or videos on like a actual Hollywood set or a commercial set, that these things were kind of required of children and that their kids were supposed to have like a tutor on set and things like that. But on a YouTube video, those requirements weren't there. So they felt that they were being had. Other than that, that's all the things they were looking for. Never mind the fact that these kids were doing inappropriate, immoral, unethical things because they were getting paid. So, yeah, that didn't seem to bother them. The money was fine though. So, I just want to show you guys the trailer from this show so you can see. If you have not seen the show, I definitely want to show you the trailer so you can see what this series is about. And then I want you guys to see what the heck, um, you know, just show something so you can see what is happening in this series. If you haven't seen the series yet, sorry for the spoilers, but I definitely want you to see the series so you guys can see for yourself. Check it out. Just check out this series.
Piper Raquel is an incredibly popular child influencer.
This young lady's amassed more than 10 million followers on YouTube.
Piper's mother, Tiffany Smith, is the momager.
She took these kids to massive viral fame. It seemed so innocent, but it wasn't innocent at all.
Tiffany finds people who want to be famous. She takes advantage of them. Things can get very muddy when kids are making an obscene amount of money. At her peak, Piper's earning between $300,000 and $500,000 a month.
Young girls have very large numbers of adult men as followers.
Tiffany would direct us to pose certain ways, hugging a certain way in a clip.
Closer, 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 closer.
She would be like, over and over, sex sells, make it sexy. Smile, flirt with the camera. There we go.
Where's the line for Tiffany?
I was 17 years old. We were on my live stream, then the kiss happened. I woke up in the morning and it was gone. If someone could erase us from the internet, then what else could they get away with?
Everything was controlled by Tiffany.
We were filming like 10 to 15 videos a day.
Okay, action.
If you leave the squad, you're going to get blacklisted.
She would start hate campaigns.
It's like a cult or something, like you can't get out. You know all the consequences of even just crossing her.
I didn't hear the way she spoke to me.
People should be asking themselves, is it really okay for my child's vulnerabilities to be displayed to random strangers?
Hold yourself together!
It doesn't matter what happened to us as long as they got it on camera. I remember being so scared.
It's not just these kids. There's so many others. And if something isn't done, these won't be the last kids.
So I just want to say that these parents on this series are blaming everything on Tiffany, right? They're not really taking accountability for their own actions and how They did not accept responsibility for the raising of their own children. Okay. If your children want to be child actors, they want to be famous, they want to go to Hollywood, they want to be actors, I get it. There are child actors out there. They have to be in order to make films, be in commercials, do all the things. But this is a whole other level. And YouTube, the social media influencer type situation, no, there are no guidelines. There are no SAG-AFTRA bumpers. Okay. There are none of that. And being in the industry for the short time that I was, there are buffers, right? There are rules. You have to have a break. You have to have food. You have to have, there are rules. And let me just tell you this, like, if you are not SAG-AFTRA, which means if you are not a part of the union, you don't have the same rules as people who are in the union. You only get those by default, because all the people who are in the union get those breaks. So because you are on the set, you get the same breaks. Also, because you are not SAG-AFTRA, you don't get the pay. You don't get the same treatment. You don't get any of those things. You are the bottom of the bottom of the bottom of the barrel, scum of the earth. Okay. So if you are an extra, if you've listened to any of my other videos, you have seen this information. So as an extra on a set or what have you, you aren't treated the same way at all. You can be there for 16, 18 hours a day. Do you get a lunch? Do you get dinner? Yes. But do you get to eat at the same time? No. You get whatever's left. Do you get to, you are sitting out under a canopy. You aren't inside. If you're lucky, you're inside. If you didn't bring a jacket, though, because you didn't know the weather was going to go turn for a worse, then sorry for your luck. There's just different set of rules, okay? And the kids do have different rules. Kids are a little different because they're kids. Okay. They do have to have certain things on set different than adults. But for social media, there are no rules. There are no buffers. There is no nothing because no one's monitoring social media. And with the kids also, who's looking at social media? Everyone is looking at social media. There is no way to decide or describe or monitor who's looking at your pages. For kids, mostly adults are looking at social media, and you're looking at Piper. She's a child. So these are grown men. She's now on different media outlets because she can't get on YouTube anymore. Since all of this storm broke out and all of these families sued Piper and her mom because of this. And by the way, they sued for a big whopping $22 million, and not because of the things necessarily that they're claiming that Piper's mom did to them. And this is some pretty deep stuff that they're saying that Tiffany did. These are some touchy, icky stuff that they're saying that she did to their kids. They actually are suing for money. Okay. These people want money. But they settled from $22 million for these 11 kids down to $1.2 million that they have to split between all 11 kids. That's a huge chunk dropped. Huge. So now they have to split $1.2 million between 11 families instead of the $22 million they were going to before. Now, let me give you the basis of the lawsuit. Because they're accusing Tiffany and Piper of going through all of their YouTube channels and shadow banning them and claiming that they decreased their subscribers and their analytics went into the toilet after they left the squad, and they stopped making money. They sued Tiffany and Piper because they stopped making money. And they also came out with allegations that Tiffany was doing inappropriate things to these kids. Now, where were the parents when the parents were okay with these kids doing all of these videos with Piper for hours and hours and hours on end? making 12 to 15 videos a day. I just think it's really sad. I think it's terrible that these parents were living freaking high and making tons of money off of their kids and take zero responsibility, sued Tiffany and Piper, and now Piper is no longer monetized by YouTube, which is whatever, that's fine. But now Piper has gone to other outlets to make money because her mom was also living off of Piper and making, look, she's making $500,000 a month. A month. And now, because she's not making that off of YouTube, she's gone to other outlets and she's doing some little risque stuff at 17 years old. And because of having to do that risque stuff, now she's making gosh knows what from who knows who, doing that content. And these other kids, I don't know what they're doing. I'm just saying, this is a pretty big price to pay off of the back of your children. So where does it end? Where did it begin? So you guys look at this, and now we can see this is a very slippery slope. It's sad to see, and we don't put enough emphasis and we don't put enough warnings out there for our children, and we don't put enough warnings out there to stop child trafficking. We don't put enough warnings out there, and we just don't stop it. We don't say, you know, hey, this can happen. And we're not paying attention to when our kids get on social media. We don't look at what our kids are looking at. We don't look at who's looking at our kids. We're not monitoring. The first thing people do that I see parents are doing when their parents go shopping or when the parents are in the car is we stick a cell phone in their face. We are putting something in a kid's face immediately just to keep them quiet. And I don't think you guys remember, but there was a case where a prisoner got to a child from prison through a game on a phone called Roblox. So I just think people need to be more careful and understand that the internet, although it started out to be quite useful, has turned out to be very damning and very harmful. So Kidfluencers, Bad Influence is what the Netflix series is called. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. I think it's a lesson to all of us. Pay attention to your children. Watch what they're doing. Look, let your kids follow their dreams. Be sure you're supportive of your children, but make sure you're there every single step of the way. And, you know, be careful. If it sounds too good to be true, it's too good to be true, right? And, you know, money's great, but it doesn't solve all your problems, and you don't do it off the backs of your children. Okay. So check out that Netflix series, you guys. Let me know what you guys think. I hope that you'll understand what I'm trying to say here. Let me know your opinion and what your point of view is. I really appreciate you all watching. And again, I hope you all had a happy Easter with your families. See you all in the next video.